welcome everyone to today's webinar, the B2B Advantage, the LinkedIn Playbook for food bloggers and content creators. I'm really excited to walk you through how you can use LinkedIn to unlock high-value partnerships, brand deals, and collaborations that go beyond maybe the traditional ways that you've been engaging with partners. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we'll do a deep dive into the power of LinkedIn and for your business, because as a content creator, you are a business. I'll show you exactly how to optimize your profile, what you should and shouldn't post, and how to build relationships that lead to B2B opportunities with the businesses you may want to work with. So let's get into it. So to start things off, I want to introduce myself. If you don't know me, my name is Sandy, and I'm the founder of Blueberry. But I didn't just start working with content creators. I've actually been working with content creators for over a decade and with content tech companies, helping both groups, creators, and businesses build impactful relationships with brands. I specialize in content engineering, but I've used these LinkedIn strategies to fuel B2B partnerships with content creators and food tech companies. And I've seen firsthand how food bloggers can scale their businesses through thoughtful and strategic use of LinkedIn. I recently attended a food blogger conference, and I was really surprised by how many people were not on LinkedIn. I did a quick poll in this mini group that I was in, and I asked 30 people who has a LinkedIn profile, and 10 people said that they did. And of those 10, I asked them who are actively using their LinkedIn profile, but none of them were. So I saw this as an opportunity to really emphasize how important it is to have a LinkedIn profile and to use it strategically. But I don't just tell this to content creators. As a matter of fact, in the past, when I led dozens of people in my team and even had interns working with me, the first thing I would ask them is, have you started a LinkedIn profile? And if they didn't, that was one of the requirements for them to be working with me. And then I would help them build their LinkedIn profile over time, because this is such an important tool as a professional and more so as a business to establish yourself in this space. So why LinkedIn? Specifically, LinkedIn is such a powerful tool because of the possibilities. Unlike Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or other consumer-facing social media channels, where content is mostly about engagement and entertainment, LinkedIn is really built for professionals, as I mentioned before, but professional connections. It's a platform where decision makers, PR teams, influencer agencies, CPG brand decision makers, they're actively looking for collaborators and partners. It's a business focused space where content can turn into contracts. And so if you're a food blogger looking for brand deals and B2B opportunities and collaborations that don't necessarily include recipe development directly, LinkedIn should be part of your strategy for sure. So we're going to get into the basics of this, and this framework is just the foundation. You can build on these ideas and add even more to personalize it to what your needs are as a business owner. So first of all, your profile is your first impression. It's what really establishes your professional persona for yourself as the owner, and also for your business. And it really needs to reflect your expertise and your business value. So here's a few quick tips to optimize it. Most importantly, at the top, perfect your headline. So your headline is clear and directly speaks to that value. I'm always changing my headline, not because I don't know my value, but it's taken time for me to um, uh, kind of establish how I want to communicate that. And my value continues to change and adapt and, and evolve. So nothing that we talk about here is one and done. You should always keep refining some of these points, some of these sections in your LinkedIn profile as there's a shift in industries, as your focus changes, as your target audience and brand businesses changes as well. So your headline shouldn't say something like just food blogger, or I've seen recipe developer or food photographer, but it should be something like food blogger, recipe creator, expert in, and add something. Are you an expert in plant-based recipes? Are you a expert in batch cooking? Are you an expert in meal planning? And then the clutch is available for available for brand partnerships, available to be on an advisory board, available for consulting food tech companies. What are you available for? This is a really important line because it creates visibility and discoverability for those who are looking for advisors, consultants, experts. And by positioning yourself as such, then you are putting yourself in line to be contacted by people who can give you new opportunities to use your expertise in a whole new ways. And then something I see people do very wrong is the profile photo. Now, I know it's so hard to take headshots for most people, but you're a content creator, you take a lot of pictures. And so really invest in a really nice headshot. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, but something that is warm, approachable, is in line with your brand and your your professional persona. But it's your full face. Please no screenshots or half part of a picture that you cut off because you looked really cute in it. Really invest in a good headshot. And even that is adaptable. I've had many headshots over time because my hair keeps changing, but it's something that's current. I usually try to change my headshots once every max 2 years because I just wanted to keep always look like me. But it should be polished and your face should be the focus. It's sad that we have to talk about it, but there's even when you Google it on Google, there's a lot of tips about your headshot photo because it's just that important. And then we go into the summary or your description on your profile. So this is like your elevator pitch. It should highlight what you do, who you serve, and how you can potentially work with others, other partners. So don't forget to include a call to action, a CTA at the end of your summary. Invite these teams, these individual contributors, these people at the C level, director level and above on these marketing teams, brand partnership teams to reach out to you. That's really important too. And if you want to create an email alias, specifically for people to reach out to you. You could even put it in your summary as well. The mistake I see a lot is that their profiles are incomplete or overly generic. Fill in your experience level, uh, add projects that you've done. There's so many fields in your LinkedIn profile that you can fill in. If you have a look at my LinkedIn profile, just search for me, Sandy Markle, on LinkedIn. I'm always adding things to my LinkedIn profile uh, for projects, images, videos to showcase the things that I've done in my professional career. So you should do the same for your profile. So a next thing we want to do is we want to post for partnerships. Uh, this is all about your content strategy on LinkedIn. I know what you're thinking, oh, I need another content strategy. I have a content strategy for everything. Yes, you do need a content strategy, but it has to be focused on what your goals are. Just like your B2C strategy, what's your B2B content strategy? Um, when I work with clients that are businesses um, launching food tech platforms, I always make that differentiation. There is a difference between a B2C strategy and a B2B strategy. And every company in food, including yours, needs both. So it's not enough to simply post recipes, which you certainly can do on LinkedIn. I'll talk more about that later. You need to post value-driven content. So the value would be the value that the businesses will get by working with you. Share your expertise. Post behind the scenes insights about your recipe development. Give a shout out to, an organization that you worked with on a campaign to fight food waste. Because when you tag them, you tag the people that they work with, and you tag other companies that are also connected with them. So your discoverability, your visibility, your credibility increases. So make sure that you're posting for partnerships. Always have that thought in mind. What do they want? What do I want them to know about what kind of business person I am? And you will post to convey that. But engagement is also important, just like in other social media platforms. But it's not just about sharing content. You do want to be deliberate about that. Uh, LinkedIn's algorithm has an algorithm like all social media platforms, but they're leaning more towards more authentic posts. I read a quote the other day that says your company page, which if you have a personal profile page, you should also have a company page that you post to. But your company page talks to your audience. Your personal page speaks with your audience. So it's a very different type of tone and voice and style that you use with your personal profile posts. You want to engage with other people's posts as well. So when you connect with brands on your page, you follow them. Most likely, the executive level team members are also engaging with those posts. So really pay attention to who's liking and sharing and commenting and reposting things, and follow those individuals and engage with them as well. Comment on, relevant industry trends, and really be part of the conversation, so that they kind of see like, oh, wow, this blogger is really um, an insider. They have a real perspective and point of view that they want to share. And besides commentary, it can also be questions about certain posts to kind of engage in that conversation. But the real goal is for them to see you and for you to see them. A common thing that I see people doing is inconsistency with posting, if they're posting at all. So posting once every month just is not going to cut it. It's really important to at least post once a week on LinkedIn, something that's, you know, uh, helps with the things that I just mentioned, with your brand discoverability and your establishing yourself as an expert in your industry. And it doesn't have to be overly complicated, like Instagram or Facebook. I think LinkedIn is very forgiving in that, it doesn't have to be so beautifully put together, although I know it will be, because content creators we internalize a lot of the things that we do. But I've posted just a simple text post, or, even, those moments where, you can just, give a shout out to somebody. I've posted pictures of me at events, and tag the event organizers and tag the people that I was with. It's something consistent once a week that you can do, and posting engagement commentary, something on your LinkedIn profile at least once a week. And because the goal is to stay at the top of mind of those who you want to work with. So the more you post and engage, the more visibility you gain. That's really what I'm trying to convey to. So the authenticity behind and the deliberateness behind your intention to post is really about building relationships. So, you don't want to indiscriminately just like, or just add very empty comments. You really want to personalize the way you interact and connect with the people that you speak to on LinkedIn. So that's where personalized outreach comes in. So LinkedIn is all about connections, connections, connections. And personalized outreach can be very specific. I would encourage everyone to think of 5 brands that, for one reason or another, just aligns with everything that you love. You love their brand ethos, you use their appliance every day, something. And connect with them add their brand page to your following list, and then go deeper. Go into their company profile, go to the people tab, see who's actually working there, and think of, find people in marketing and influencers, that you can just connect with. And, maybe you won't see the highest level person show up on the connections right away, but even a marketing manager is connected to somebody who you want to be connected to. So even just connecting with them at first will provide the needed visibility that you need. And then if you want to go to the next step, it would be a personalized message. So when you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, you can DM them directly. And so if you see a PR person or a marketing person um, posting about something that strikes you, send them a message and mention what you like about what their work and how it aligns with whatever you want to do with them, or that you're just excited about what's ahead for their brand, and maybe make a suggestion on how you could collaborate with them. And even if you don't know, suggest you're willing to jump on a call with them and just talk about things. It's about building relationships on LinkedIn. So being consistent is important because relationship building takes time. So, keep following up, keep engaging with those on LinkedIn. It's not about like making a hard sell. I'm not salesy at all myself. And so if something is not authentic to me or speaks to me in a sincere way, I can't do the sales pitch on it. And I have a feeling a lot of you are that way too. It's really about establishing trust and a mutual understanding of what you both can bring to the table. And a lot of the time, it takes time to develop that and really understand both sides. Remembering that like LinkedIn is long-term relationship building. Wouldn't it be nice if you established a good relationship with a brand early on, and through several conversations or interactions, both sides were able to really understand what the other was able to provide, and then something came up that you could work on together, not just one and done, but for the long haul? Well, those are the things that you could accomplish on LinkedIn. Not quick wins, but staying active and nurturing connections. Um, you know, I get a lot of generic outreach messages, sometimes, very obviously templated. Uh, and, we know what we do with those. We just throw them away or delete them. But a personalized message shows that you've really done your research and you're truly interested in working with that brand. If we were to reverse it, that's, when you receive messages like that as a content creator, it just makes you kind of sit up and pay attention. So you want to convey the same thing in your messages to these brands as well. And I started off saying, think of 5 brands, because you don't have to do hundreds and hundreds of messages a month, a day, a year. Start small, stay authentic, and really kind of dig deep. Take 10% of your time and your busy schedules to start sowing those seeds, building those connections. Next up, I want to start talking about people who are actually really trying to put things forward on LinkedIn. The first person that I met is Gianji Townsend. I've actually been following Gianji for years because she's always on LinkedIn sharing her recipes. And when I first thought of, you know, doing this webinar, I thought of her because she is actually um, an early adopter of LinkedIn as a content creator. She's always posting on LinkedIn. And the thing about Gianji is she's not just posting on her personal feed. Oh no. Gianji is in all of the food blogger LinkedIn groups. Oh yes, there are food blogger LinkedIn groups. And she doesn't just drop her recipes in which I see most people do. She adds a thoughtful post, and when I was planning this webinar, I asked her if I could use her as a case study. And she said, of course, she's so generous. And I asked her, I said, why are you on LinkedIn? And um, what she said was really, really powerful. She says, well, because professionals got to eat too. So very early on, when she was thinking about who could use her recipes, she knows that there's busy professionals out there whose feeds she could surface on and provide them with recipes that they could make. And Gianji has really done a good job with optimizing her profile. Her header is great. She's always popping up on my feed, which says a lot. So I think that she's a really good example of thinking about your market as well, because I'm almost positive that the people that are seeing Giangi's recipes on LinkedIn are not the same people that are seeing her recipes on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, if they're on TikTok. So, and she's right, you know, professionals got to eat too. So she's a really good example of that. And she was really generous in showing kind of her traction on LinkedIn. And she said she has had consistent traffic to her website from LinkedIn. Now, I asked Gianji, would she be interested in different types of partnerships? And although she's done traditional partnerships with CPG brands in the past, they were really her cup of tea. But she is open to speaking to other types of brand collaborations, perhaps in adjacent industries like technology or kitchen appliance, uh, small domestic products like Alexa devices and things like that. But her profile is primed for these kind of opportunities. It's just for her to decide that she wants to do that. So I am really impressed by the effort that she puts into consistently posting, positioning herself, um, uh, in the LinkedIn space. So if she does end up reaching out to a food brand or a tech company or anything in those adjacent industries, it won't be like, Gianji, who are you? Most likely she has shown up in their feed at some point. And so I think she's a good example of the power of just, you know, a good, strong LinkedIn presence for a content creator. The next example is Chris De La Rosa. So Chris is actually one of my clients, and I've known him for like 10 years. I've worked with him on other projects before he became my client. And when we decided to work together more closely, Chris had no LinkedIn profile at all. And he was struggling to find the right people to reach out to for brand deals, because it's not that people weren't reaching out to him, but the quality of those deals were nothing to write home about. So he was frustrated with the type of partnerships that he had and been pursuing, and he was ready to try something different, something more aligned with the tech industry, actually, and to look for new opportunities. Because the great thing about Chris is that he had his blog and his YouTube channel that he had for years, but he's also a menu consultant. He has advised and helped people with their CPG products like spice blends. He's heavily into tourism, so he does a lot of media, in-person events. He's been on TV. So it's not something that is just related to recipe development directly. So he was open to really position himself as an innovator in food and as an advisor and a brand ambassador for the way people will be cooking into the future. And that's the way he wanted to position himself to new partners. So the first thing I said is the first thing I always say, you need a LinkedIn profile. So we worked together to create and optimize his profile as an expert in the food space. So as a result, Chris is now working with emerging tech companies as a brand ambassador and advisor. His LinkedIn transformation is a perfect example of how the platform can help shift the trajectory of your business and open up new opportunities. So here are just some of the ways that just in the last year, Chris has been able to do a lot of different things. And it's not just the things that he's done, but the way he's presented them in LinkedIn, on LinkedIn. So, he's been featured on podcasts. So how do you present that in LinkedIn? You're establishing your thought leadership. When he uh, partnered with a food tech company, they made an announcement because they're excited about it and they tagged him. He's a new brand ambassador and advisor to this tech company. So these brand partnerships and of course the company and brand that are promoting him are also um, they also have their own connections as well, and people who are seeing Chris as someone who is positioning themselves with this brand, which will establish his credibility when he's reaching out to others. A few months ago, he sent me at the end, I think at the end of last year, he sent me a text message. And he was so excited. He sent me this screenshot because now his profile is surfacing on Google. And of course it is, because as we all know, the semantic content related to your brand really strengthen your domain authority. So it's not just Chris De La Rosa of Caribbean Pod, it's Chris De La Rosa, founder of Caribbean Pod, who is um, establishing his business on Google, and it's associating it with his blog and his newsletter and things like that. But all of those things are all on the Google SERP, so it really increases his visibility. So if a brand, for example, is searching Caribbean recipe bloggers and Chris surfaces, they'll also see that he has a LinkedIn page. They're going to click on it and see all the other things that he's done with the brand. So it also doesn't pigeonhole him in one specific type of way that brands can work with him. It's actually a lot of different ways. And so they get inspiration too with the different ways that you're available to work with these brands. So my favorite tools to use that support this LinkedIn strategy are these three. I use them every day, and they're really powerful to really, establish and solidify your strategy for using LinkedIn. The first one is called LinkedIn Text Formatter by TypeGrow. None of these tools are super fancy, but they definitely get the job done. And they start off free, and you can do a lot of things with them without even going into the paid model. That's why I love them so much. So I like the LinkedIn formatter because it just lets you style your LinkedIn messages with bold, italics, and bullet points just to make them stand out. You certainly don't need to do that, but I just find it just helps with just longer form posts. If I really want to talk more about, an event I went to, a thought-provoking talk. Um, I went to that food blogger conference that I'm mentioning, and there was a panel, and I shared a lot of quotes from people from the panel that I really thought were great. And of course, I tagged them, so maybe I would italicize the quotes, just something to make it stand out. It's super easy to use. You only use it. I don't think they have an app version. You only use it on the desktop, but it's free. You just open it up, you add your text. Sometimes I write the text first, I copied it in there, and then I just format it in the way I want, and then copy it back into LinkedIn. Super simple. And this next one is called Rocket Reach. I've used Rocket Reach and similar tools for years. And Rocket Reach is cool because it's it's an extension, a Chrome extension. There may be other extensions if you use another browser. So when you open up your LinkedIn profile in your browser, and you click into somebody else's profile, many times if somebody's profile settings can be adjusted if you want to make your contact information visible. Most people don't make it visible, especially if they're on director level or above role. It's because everybody's going to be emailing them, and it's just a lot easier if they don't do it. But with Rocket Reach, you can click into their profile and make that information visible. There is a paid model, but I think Rocket Reach allows you to open about 10 emails per month, which, I think is super sustainable. I don't pay for Rocket Reach. Um, so that's enough for me. And I email people a lot. So that should say something. So that's a one I like. There's a lot of different other ones, but I like Rocket Reach because it allows you to stay on the free model for a long time, and I don't have to pay for it. Um, and then finally, Boomerang for Gmail. There may be other email clients that Boomerang use for, like Outlook, but I'm not sure. You can look into that. But I like Boomerang because it does schedule emails, but I mean, Gmail schedules, so that's not really a big differentiator. I like it because you can track who opens when your email is opened and how many times it's opened. Why that's really great is that, sometimes you send an email out and you're just like waiting and stressed. Like, is somebody opening my email? And I don't know if they saw it, then you don't get a response. But you can see if someone opened your email, if they opened it again, and if they opened it again, if they click the link. You get a lot of information from Boomerang. Boomerang's model is similar to Rocket Reach. They give you about, I don't know what the limit is, at least 10. And so I do pay for Boomerang now. It's about $19 or something like that. But I use Boomerang for free for a long time. I just transferred to the paid model like this year, but I used it like all last year for free. I'm just sending a lot more emails now, so I just need to track them. But I definitely, once you get the email, it's good to track the email. That's a powerful tool. And then it's helpful too because people are busy. People are so busy, as you know. And so sometimes somebody opens up the email, so they opened it, but then you still haven't heard from them. So there's good strategic different strategies around when to send the next follow-up email, not to be too intense, but not to just let a good opportunity go by. So you can kind of time when they open the email to when you want to reach out to them again. So it's just a really good tool to use to make sure you're getting the information that you need out there, and time it properly. So that's mostly all the things that I think are good to keep in mind when it comes to LinkedIn. But I have a great quiz that I want to share with everyone. And I'm giving away a 1 hour consultation and an optimized LinkedIn profile to the 3 people who answer the questions from this quiz. It's only 4 questions, so don't worry. So just please scan this QR code and submit your answers. And yeah, and you're in the running to get a free consultation from me and an optimized LinkedIn profile to get you started. And I really hope that this is a great foundation for you to start thinking about what LinkedIn could do for you, and not dismissing it as just, a business networking platform, because it's so much more than that. And it could really help your business grow and scale. Or even if you didn't want to grow and scale, just transition into to new opportunities as you maybe transition into a path that's different but adjacent to what you have been doing. It's good to know what's out there. It's good to know what people are doing, what people are talking about from a business perspective, and networking with other content creators who have the same business mindset like you. I do want to plug some fun things that's going on with Blueberry that I'm really excited about. So I just launched my new newsletter that it's been in my head for a year, but now it's out there in the world. It's called Blueberry Pie, just a nod to the tech aspect of it, but this newsletter is different from my blog on blueberry.co because it's directly for me. It's in first person, and I simplify a lot of the more technical concepts I talk about on my blog on blueberry.co. I break them down into really easy to understand insights that you can apply to your own work. And you'll see a lot more of my personality kind of shine through in this newsletter as I share valuable strategies and tips. I saw the need for Blueberry Pie because sometimes the technical stuff can be really uh, overwhelming. They need to be there, but Blueberry Pie offers a more simple and approachable format. And in this space, I can share quick, actionable advice that goes beyond just the facts. And it helps kind of you connect with me on just a deeper level. And I also use a more story vibe. I create like fictional situations that help you to kind of really understand the concepts and how can be applied in your own work. Also, next month, I'm launching my podcast, the Blueberry Podcast. Unlike my newsletter, the podcast will really focus on storytelling. So the theme of season 1 uh, is everyone has a food story. I'm gonna blink for a second. Everyone has a food story. So instead of, I will have guests who featured guests, but instead of the traditional interview format, I'll be including their insights in really unique ways. So I'm really excited about that. And so we'll be talking about all things like recipe optimization, content strategy, the future of food tech. What does that all mean for content creators and food tech brands? Because they'll be listening in too. And so this is all going to be wrapped up in an engaging, easy to follow blog podcast. And I can't wait for it to launch. And I hope you follow along and don't miss the first episode when it drops. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. You can, if you have any questions or insights or feedback, please email at hello@blueberry.co and follow us everywhere at Blueberry Biz. That's Blueberry I and not a Y. Thank you. See you guys next time.